Sam Amick, the Athletic senior NBA writer, is joining us as we've got the Damon Stoudemire situation still percolating. Damian Lillard. Did I call him Stoudemire again? I told myself yesterday, just call him Dame. So it's just Dame. It was a bit of an eye roll when the GM says we're building around Dame. There's a lot of talk, and what's being put out to us is, Dame loves Portland. The Blazers are going to build around him. And then there's always the truth. Where are you at on Dame and truth this morning?
Morning, Colin. Always appreciate you having me on. Dame, for me, and I've been tracking the story for years, like a lot of other national guys, this is the closest that I can ever remember coming to actually wondering, within days, might he finally tell the Blazers that he wants out? Now, it's one of those I'll believe it when I see it type of things because of what you alluded to, the history between Dame and the city and the franchise and the roots and the loyalty. And I get all that, but it feels very much like the Blazers are building in the kind of way that if Dame wants to stick around and be part of a long-term project, which is what it feels like right now, then he's more than welcome to do that because they love him and what he's done for them. But, in terms of them making deals that will make him happy, make him feel like he's on a contender again, I don't see it right now.
People have projected that Miami is the best fit for Dame. I argued yesterday that Milwaukee is. Milwaukee is old. They need to get more dynamic. Dame's dynamic. They could also give Portland something they've needed for years, a scoring forward. With all their young guards, they could move Drew Holiday. What Portland needs is maturity, wing scoring. Milwaukee's got it. But what Milwaukee wants is another great player. Porzingis now with the Celtics makes him better. Miami will be active. Denver's in the way. Your thoughts on, because Milwaukee has to, Sam, they have to reboot. They looked old and slow last year because they were old and slow. They've got to make some moves here. Do you think Milwaukee's in play with Dame?
I'm not hearing it right now, Colin. Everything you broke down makes a lot of logical sense. But as you know, when it comes to superstar movement, the player's voice matters a great deal. And while Dame does not have a no-trade clause like Bradley Beal had and which served him well in that trade to Phoenix, he has, in my opinion, something fairly close to it, which is the kind of massive contract, in which a team getting him, you don't want to pursue Damian Lillard if he doesn't want to be part of your program. And right now, I've not heard Milwaukee in terms of, kind of his unofficial list of preferred destinations. For me, and I'm not saying this is the end all be all, but it's Miami and everybody else. I think he would be very comfortable there. And that is where, let's go ahead and say he does ask out. Let's go ahead and say that Joe Cronin, the Blazers GM, then has to decide how to play this. I have thought all along that the Blazers would try to do right by Damian and put him somewhere he wants to be. But what if that return, is so minuscule that the Blazers don't feel like pulling the trigger on it? That's, down the road a bit, but Miami to me is on top of the list, and I'm not here in Milwaukee right now.
So there's the old belief in the NFL that general managers in pro football often are more loyal to the players they draft. So sometimes you have to get rid of the GM who comes in and goes, let's just start over. We got a bunch of average guys. In the NBA, sometimes GMs are more loyal to stuff they find. Austin Reaves is undrafted. The Lakers feel damn good about it. They love that. They went to a garage sale and got a $300,000 vase, and they paid $12 for it. So my takeaway is, if you look at what Austin Reaves is, he's 10 points a game, 2.5 assists, and not a dead-eye shooter. He's not a catch-and-shoot whiz. He had a good playoff series against Denver, but that's not what he is. And in the end, I read a story this morning. Mark Stein says, it may cause major cap issues, but they're going to outbid everybody. And I'm like, what kind of market does Austin Reaves have? Are they bidding against themselves? What do you make of that story?
I think you're hitting it dead on in terms of the way the Lakers see him. And it strikes me, we always know with Lakerland, it's kind of, there's a LeBron James component, right? So independent of LeBron James, Rob Pelinka and that whole front office, I think, has been all in on the idea that from Austin Reaves to Rui Hachimura, these two guys are not getting away, that they liked what they saw in the second half of the season so much and think, so much that it could grow and evolve and get better, that's what they want to do. But your point is well taken about Austin. Houston's got a ton of cap room. We have 5-6 cap teams, but I don't think that, he's going to be looking at at a 25, high $20 million deal. I'm curious to see the market, but I don't think they're letting them get away. They have had these guys with the Lakers that they found, kind of diamonds in the rough. Some have gotten away, the Alex Carusos of the world. It feels like they have put a line in the sand that Austin is not going to be one of those guys.
Sam Amick, The Athletic, joining us. So I have tried to defend J-Mac's not a believer, Chris Paul to the Warriors. I think they just got smarter, and I always am willing, even if a guy's past his prime, this is a very smart culture. He's a smart player. I think he'll fit in nice. Wiggins, smart kid, fit in easily. Now, we know he's past his prime, but their second unit led by Jordan Poole could be frenetic, a little wild, turnover pro. Chris will settle all that down. That's my take. They're going to bring in another big. Chris likes the pick and roll. The Warriors don't do that much, so they'll bring in a big that can do a little bit of that with a second unit. I can talk myself into it. Doesn't mean I'm right. There's a lot of people in the NBA are like, he plays slow, they play fast. This is ridiculous. Where do you land, Sam, on this?
I think I'm, no offense, J-Mac, I think I'm on Team Colin here.
Yeah.
I like it because it's self-awareness, I think, by the Warriors. Like, let's stop acting like their runway, is just incredibly long. The runway is short. The window is closing. So go ahead and lean into the old guy thing. Chris Paul, 2 seasons ago, led the league in assists. What you talked about stylistically, I actually think it's by design. They wanted more variety in their offensive attack with the second unit, to not have just constant action and motion and the type of stuff that honestly would wear Steph Curry out. They would try to run pick and roll with Steph a lot in different times, and fatigue, I think, was a factor late in the playoffs. Chris Paul, you have a major, major if here. It's the age, the health, all those things. Can they get him to the playoffs feeling pretty good, and can they have him, as some version of himself at that time? I see it. I see the vision. It is dicey. But to your point, Jordan Poole running that second unit was also dicey. Jordan Poole with that contract was dicey, with his chemistry issues for obvious reasons with Draymond Green. All of that was dicey. As a quick final thought here, the idea that they have improved the locker room dynamic by inserting a veteran in Chris Paul who has beef like in the past with all of the Warriors core cracks me up. Like, the idea that that's an upgrade in relation to Jordan Poole tells you everything you need to know about where they were. Yeah, by the way, Chris Paul worked with Harden. I mean, he's worked virtually with everybody, right? So, and Steph talked about that yesterday. So, what's interesting with Draymond Green is I have defended him forever. Now, I have a little company that he's part of, so people always say, oh, you love him for that. But I feel validated because according to various reports, the Mavericks are interested, the Blazers are interested, the Kings are interested, is that if you really look at what he does, you don't, and I love this about basketball, I think we don't understand the value of Ben Wallace. We don't understand the value of players who do things extraordinarily well, but are not like wildly twitchy and athletic. Are you surprised by the market for Draymond, which appears to be really substantial with multiple teams? No, I everything you said is accurate. He's a winning basketball player who is on the back end of his prime, but he's not done yet. He had a very strong year. This is a league where I know the casuals, so to speak, think that nobody plays defense in the NBA. That's not the case. Defense matters a great deal. Just ask the Miami Heat, who made a pretty magical run to the finals with an offense that by and large was pretty anemic. Defense matters. And you mentioned Portland, just to kind of pound your point. The idea, like I reported a couple days ago, that, Draymond's not going to Portland, but if he did, and if the Blazers found a way to get Draymond in Portland with Jeremy Grant also re-signing, I was told that Dame would stay. He'd be happy. And that's kind of all you got to know. Here's an all-time player in Damian Lillard saying, that guy right there, if you get him on my squad, then I am content. That is Draymond's reputation. And so none of that's going to happen. He's widely expected to re-sign with the Warriors and run it back, but I think his value is there. Sam Amick, as always, great chatting. Good seeing you, man. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate you. Little Draymond. You're a Draymond fan, but you're a little on the fence on Draymond.
On the fence about what? Like, would I pay him a lot of money?
I mean, ask yourself this. Dame, Simons, Scoot Henderson, Draymond, Jeremy Grant, Nurkic. That's a playoff team. That's absolutely a playoff team.
You're not top 5 in the West with that.
I think you can battle.
You think Draymond Green vaults him from out of the playoffs to top 5?
I think he's the best defensive player, arguably, in the entire conference.
In
He's
that,
not Giannis, but he's arguably the best defensive player in the West.
In that incredible Golden State system, he looked amazing offensively.
Well, he was amazing. By the way, he was also amazing at Michigan State. He was all Big Ten. He was a great college player.
Great. You think automatically he becomes great in a new Portland system with
because I think
multiple non-shooters on the floor?
Well, first of all, Nurkic, when healthy, is good. Dame, when healthy, is great. Simons, as you've talked about, is an emerging star. Scoot Henderson will be a star. You'd probably move Shaedon Sharpe. You'd probably move him to gold. I don't know. Whatever would happen, maybe you have to make some picks disappear. But if you're telling me Jeremy Grant, Draymond, Nurkic, Dame, Scoot Henderson,
well, they would. I don't know.
They'd have to move some stuff.
All those guys.
That's right. They'd have to move some stuff. You'd probably have, But I'm just saying, I think he's that kind of guy. I mean, if you
is he a culture changer?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. That we can agree on.
Okay. So I'll get a great example. My favorite Draymond. I always have these stats that I love. My favorite Draymond stat is the year they won the championship. Not this year, last year. And I'm fuzzy on this, but it was when Draymond played in the regular season for the Warriors that championship year. It was the best defensive rating since the Tim Duncan Spurs. When just Draymond was pulled out of it, they were middle of the pack NBA. So all-time great, average.
Okay, but
one guy who averages 7.5 a game.
So that was 2 years ago.
Okay, another stat I always use. LeBron's junior year of high school averages 27 a game, senior year 28. That's all you needed to know. He never cared about points, which is remarkable. He's the all-time NBA leading scorer. He's never been beholden to points. He's beholden to elevation of others. So there are stats that I just can't unsee with Draymond Green and LeBron James. He's absolutely a culture changer. Would make Portland tougher, more physical. He would hold young guys accountable. Man, let me tell you something. Dame doesn't play any defense. He's small. Scoot Henderson's going to watch Dame's defense. He's going to be like, well, I'm going to get some shots up. And that's not a knock on Dame. Draymond changes. Steph Curry's not a great defensive player. But you have to put the effort in with Draymond Green because Draymond will call Steph out.
So you would play Nurkic alongside Draymond and have two non-shooters on the floor. I don't know that you can do that. The Warriors could barely do that. When they tried Looney and Draymond.
I'm not saying you're winning the championship. I'm saying, would he make Portland really a pain in the butt for everybody in the West?
A pain in the butt, sure. They're not better than the Lakers. They're not better than Austin Reaves, LeBron, and AD.
I'd take him over the Lakers.
They're definitely not better than the Nuggets or the Suns.
Well, once you pay Austin Reaves a max and your bench is an end table and that microphone. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.